Gopala Astrology channel, where the science meets astrology for common man's understanding. Subscribe and stay tuned to this channel for continued astrological updates. Hello, welcome to Gopala Astrology channel once again, ladies and gentlemen. You have been watching my videos and giving a lot of comments and encouragement. Thank you for all your overwhelming response. And today we are going to have a very interesting video about planet Y, or I call this as Vishwakarma, in terms of our Indian mythological character. All right, so what is this planet Y? It's a centaur. It was discovered and researched upon by Mr. Greenstone Lobo. All this credit goes to the research work of Mr. Greenstone Lobo. All right, so I have been using this analysis done by him, and I'm practical user of this concept, and I'm going to share some of my knowledge about this, how I used it, and I have also put up some of the practical examples of some of the doctors, researchers, and also mathematicians and chess players and all that, and try to get the practical use of this planet Y. How is it performing in our day-to-day lives? Okay, so stick on to this video till the end. It's going to be a very interesting video, and you can always at the end of the video go back to your own horoscope, Greenstone Lobo horoscope, and find out where is your planet Y and how is it performing. You can always verify. All right, let's go to the actual video, friends. So this planet Y is actually the same as Vulcan, as told by Greeks. Okay, in Indian concept we call this as Vishwakarma. What exactly is this? This is a centaur that lives in the Kuiper belt. In the previous video, I was explaining to you guys about Planet X, which was Kuvera, who is the giver of wealth, and now we are talking about Vishwakarma, who is going to give you skill and mathematical abilities and all that. We are going to explain in detail. Okay, so a very detailed oriented work is carried out by Vishwakarma, or the Vulcan, and it's a centaur somewhere in the Kuiper belt. Okay, so this was tracked by Greenstone Lobo, and then he started filling up those gaps and explained those horoscopes which you could not explain in the normal classical astrology. Okay, now again a little bit look at the Kuiper belt. What is this Kuiper belt again? So during the formation of solar system, not all the stones which were there got a chance to become a planet, and some of them were left out. Huge boulders of rocks were left out in the outermost part of the solar system, and they form what is known as Kuiper belt. It is very much similar to that of the asteroid belt that you find between Mars and Jupiter, but they are kind of smaller kind of stones, whereas the centaurs or bigger variety of stones or dwarf planets. Okay, so they do exist and they give a lot of impact on human body. So many of them are having a very eccentric orbit, as you can see, similar to that of Pluto, Neptune. Neptune is much organized, whereas Pluto is a very eccentric orbit planet as well. Now, you can see those, there are so many eccentrically orbited centaurs in the Kuiper belt. Okay, so that's what it is, and we don't know how many of them are there which are influencing the human beings, but now we are going to talk about this centaur, which is conveniently called by Greenstone Lobo as planet Y. Okay, so the characteristics of Vulcan or planet Y are as follows. So Greeks call them as, it's the god of fire, metalworking or forging job, right? So in Indian context, we call this as Vishwakarma, the one who has a lot of knowledge and skill, who can transform out of nothing a beautiful architectural structure. Okay, so who works meticulously. That is something like this. I give a piece of stone, a hammer and a chisel to an architect or a shilpi, right? So what is he going to do? That meticulously he keeps on hitting it every day, say for example, a couple of months, or I don't know, it depends on the size of the stone and the type of idol you are going to make out of it. He's, at the end of the day, he comes and presents you a beautiful artifact right? So that is what is the job of Vishwakarma or the Shilpi, and that is what is there in every one of us, whether we know or not. Every day we get up in the morning, we brush the teeth, we go take shower, we have our coffee, and we have our daily routine. So this daily routine is what is building our character within. Over a period of time, we have become what we have become because we have a very routine type of a job that we have. Whether some of them, they don't like the routine, they want to break that, but still the routine is always there. And if your planet Y is very well placed in your horoscope, your routine becomes a very organized one, and you are going to make maximum use of it. You are going to be very efficient in your day-to-day activities. Okay, so now how do we understand this? There is 1999 JV127. This is the scientific name of planet Y. It was discovered in the year 1999, and it is called by NASA as JV127. That's the code given by them. You can always go and verify this in NASA website. Okay, so this planet has got that phobia of perfection. So they want the people who have exalted planet Y, they are very much into perfectionism, right? So they need everything to be perfect, clean, clear, crystal clear. Very detail oriented auditors and chartered accountants can be seen using this. They are very granular micro analysis. They're very good chemists, for example, who always work with the microscope, go into the minor details, can be seen through this planet Welcome. Okay, and very hard work and regular highly what do you say, that repetitive type of job makers are also seen through exaltation of planet Y. And industriousness, it's very industrial. See, for example, if you want to manufacture something, for example, you want to manufacture iPhone, and you need to have a factory. You want to make million copies of this. See, making a first prototype is Uranus. All right, please understand the difference. Uranus is creativity, whereas planet Y is the next stage. Once you create something, you have to replicate it, you have to go for mass production, and that is what is called the industriousness of our planet Y. Okay, so it's going to make work instructions, it is going to make standard operating procedures, and it's going to define the clear cut rules and regulations so that the people follow the work instructions repeatedly and they go for mass production of same kind of an instrument or a device or whatever. So in mass productions, you need meticulousness, industriousness, and very methodical and structured work. Okay, and people who, it shows your duty, it's your regular routine work. Okay, and very good in analysis. People who have got Vulcan exalted or planet Y exalted, they are the people who think with the brain, and they really are very good in root cause analysis, synthesis. They're very good in numbers. Data management is most of the management engineers are seen through the very good placement of planet Y, and mathematics is just their cup of tea. Accountants, okay, the people who work on day in and day out on the same type of numbers without getting bored, they are all having very good planet Y. Okay, it's not lost. It's I should have put this healing in the first. Why? Because the ruler of the sixth house of natural Kala Purusha Kundali horoscope is actually planet Y. Okay, sixth house is Virgo for the natural Kala Purusha, and it is ruled by Vulcan. So sixth house is all about diseases and things healing towards it. Even chartered accountants heals the people who have bad debts. Correct. So they are also kind of healers, but they are the healers in accountancy. Right, so anything to do with healing has to be referred to planet Y, and I fully agree with Greenstone Lobo because this is against a little bit. I can say it is having a little bit of contrast with Westerners. Westerners says Chiron, so Chiron is not the healer; it is an emotional planet. Okay, it rules zodiac sign of Cancer, and it is very much to do with the real estate properties and those things related to the fourth house. Whereas Vulcan is the actual planet. Planet Y is actually the one which is the healer, doctors. I will prove that to you in coming few slides. That very good doctors and researchers, they have planet Y exalted. Okay, so this takes about 68 years to complete one revolution around Sun. So roughly it's about 5 to 5.5 years in a zodiac sign, but actually due to its eccentricity, it stays an extra long period of time in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and the Virgo becomes its I can say, the own house. All right, so let's see some more information here. Virgo is the own house for planet Y. Exaltation point is Gemini and Aries, and exactly opposite houses of Aries and Gemini, that is Pisces and Sagittarius, becomes the fall house or the debilitation points. Okay, that is where it becomes very weak, and it's going to gain maximum strength in Gemini and Aries. All right, so let's put into this in the chart perspective. Imagine a person is born in Aries ascendant. I always keep this as a hypothetical chart, as it is very easy to explain. Your ascendant sign can be any one of the 12 zodiac signs, and you can apply accordingly. But I'm just showing here for the Aries zodiac sign and Gemini, this is the exaltation points, deepest exaltation points for planet Y, and Virgo becomes its own house. So remember these three places, and exactly opposite will be the debilitation or the fall house. Pisces is going to be exactly opposite to that of Virgo. It becomes a fall house in Pisces, so the planet Y becomes very weak in Pisces, and also it becomes weak in Libra, as it is opposite to that of Aries and Taurus. All right, so these are very clear. Where exactly exaltation happens and where debilitation happens is very important to analyze its strengths and weaknesses. Now let's try to put planet Y in each of the houses. In a way, I have already defined that planet Y is very meticulous and hardworking, repetitive nature of a man. Okay, so which runs your day-to-day routine. Now let us say again the hypothetical situation of Aries ascendant I'm going to take here, and then try to analyze what will happen if this man's sixth lord goes to the first house. Okay, so sixth lord coming to the first house of Aries and exaltation point, it can give him very good knowledge in medicine. This person can be a doctor, okay, or a researcher, or someone who heals somebody. Okay, he heals himself, because sixth house coming to the first house in exaltation point as an exalted lord, and then he is going to do a world of good for the rest of the people, because sitting in the first house, it aspects the seventh house of others. All right, so let's put planet Y in second house of income, family, welfare, food, drinks, etc., which is ruled by which is the characteristics of house number 2, that is Taurus here. So when it comes here, I don't think it is neither good nor bad. It's neutral. So in terms of Greenstone Lobo chart, I can say it's black in color. Planet Y becomes black in color. So sixth lord gives earnings, and it may not communicate very well. This is the planet which work in silence. Okay, it's a very research minded one. People who work in research field, they like to work in isolated areas. They want to isolate themselves in the laboratories. They do not talk much. Whereas when it comes to the second house of speech, so this person can become very silent type of a person. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't communicate at all unless it is absolutely necessary. Okay, so that's what I can say here. Accumulated wealth from sixth house, yes, possible. The person can take loans, and unless there is an aspect of Jupiter on the second house, it's going to become difficult for that person to clear the loans easily. Okay, sixth house also represents loans and competitors. Competitors are going to be a lot of them for them. Okay, let's take the example of exaltation point of sixth lord in the third house. What happens when planet Y goes to the third house of communication, intelligence, younger siblings, short trips, okay, competition, and whatever mechanical ability one has, which is a very good place for this ascendant person. So sixth lord coming to the third house in the exaltation points makes him a very good communicator. Okay, he communicates what? He communicates about sixth house activities. He communicates about healing to others. He communicates about health. He gives maximum importance to health, and he's the best communicator of health. Okay, he can be a doctor again. He can be a research scientist who can. Now, in this place, the third house of communication, planet Y, helps to communicate through his research work. All right, so there's a lot of good things to see. And then even the accountants, the third house is all about the hands, so this person can be even very good in sports and analysis. very important. And then let's put fourth house, planet Y. The planet Y going to the fourth house, sixth lord in the fourth house, and again in the fourth house of comforts, it may not do very well because it doesn't express much on the real estate and then vehicles and all that. So this is not about academic degrees, it's not about mother and happiness. So I don't think it is going to do very well in the fourth house unless there is another benefic and other aspects of Shubha Grahas like Jupiter or Venus. Okay, so that's it. It's not debilitated anyway. Okay, so sixth lord coming to the fourth house may make you to take loans and buy properties. All right, so the next option here is sixth lord going to the fifth house in terms of planet Y, right? Planet Y in the fifth house of creativity, children, spirituality. Yes, he may be a very creative research man. He may be a creative accountant. Of course, accountancy is all about repetitive tasks, but still, they may do that in a creative way. Okay, and it's a black planet Y. That means it's neutral. It is not. It's neither good nor bad, but still, it's the loss of the sixth house, right? So every house is the loss of the every 12th house is the loss of the present house. That means if you take sixth house, the 12th bhava is the fifth, it's the loss of that. So that means this person will be very creative, but he don't like to do repetitive tasks and things like that. Okay, so the best position for planet Y would be sixth house itself, because it's the natural house of health, enemies, sorry, the healing arts which comes to these people naturally. Sixth lord in the sixth house is an extremely good position for a doctor to be there. So many of the doctors can be born with planet Y in the Virgo as a sixth house and other houses which I'm going to tell you later on. Okay, so we'll see some of the practical examples. So planet Y going to the seventh house, it's a fall house, so he may have some relationship problems, if at all. Planet sixth lord comes into the seventh house because it can come into litigations and things like that. So how the lord of litigation comes to the marriage, so there could be some problems in terms of marriage, because seventh house needs love and romance and creativity, whereas this one becomes a very monotonous and a boredom type of a guy, right? So the partner may not like this person, and there could be some friction in the marriage unless there is other Shubha Drishti of good planets like Jupiter and Venus and so on and so forth. Right, so let's put planet Y in eighth house of Scorpio. So what does it do? It does very well, of course. It's a research-oriented planet, and of course it is going to help the person to be very meticulous, and it is going to help the person to do research work in isolation. It could be some secretive type of research work. Okay, so it could be related to medicine as well. All right, so he may be working on something which is secretive. For example, a person who works on a nuclear bomb. Okay, I'm just telling you for fun. So this type of information has to be highly confidential, and so eighth house is all about confidentiality, and sixth lord planet Y goes and sits there, and of course it will be neutral Y. The Y do not get exalted or debilitated in eighth, so in the Scorpio zodiac sign, and hence this person will be doing a very meticulous hard work and research work in terms of secrecy. Okay, so this will be a secret offense for him. He may be an occult guy also. All right, so the next one is Sagittarius. This is where it gets debilitated. It becomes very weak. It's opposite of the exaltation of Gemini, and here it will hit the higher education of the person. So he may not he may stop in a bachelor degree. He may not end up in master degree and things like that. And those pilgrimages and the blessings of the gurus will be difficult for this man, and this fellow will have this weak planet Y in ninth house. He may have some problems in relations with father. All right, 10th house. Let's put 10th house planet wide. So connection of 6th and 10th is going to be good actually. So in even though it is neutral there, it is shown in black color in Greenstone Lobo's conceptual chart, it is still good because it's linking the karma sthanam with the sixth house of routine work. So his routine karma is going to be very good. He's going to get good reputation, and it's going to be visible actions that he's going to be doing, and he will get name and fame for his repetitive tasks like accountancy or any type of a routine type of a job, even administration. If you are running a company and you have an admin people there, they do a very good job in implementing a lot of rules and regulations, because 10th house is all about, especially Capricorn, is all about making rules and regulations and discipline and hard work, and it's all there linking to this planet. Why? It should do very well in 10th house. All right, 11th house of Labam or incoming gains. So, how does it do in Aquarius? Aquarius is all about finding out new things and experimenting on and things like that. So, this planet Y is still neutral here. It's not debilitated, it's not exalted, but still, it can help those research workers who are experimenting a lot, right? So, it will have a bit of a contrasting character with the Lord of Aquarius, because Uranus is all about trying totally new things. It doesn't like the repetitive task. It's all about research work. Okay, so it's the first piece, the first cell phone that is made, like an iPhone comes into the research table, and that is Uranus. Whereas converting that into mass production level, right? You need 1 million pieces to be delivered all over the world for the iPhone, and that is done by planet Y. Okay, so it's going to be a good combination actually, and resulting in a lot of money. 11th house is all about incoming gains. And then talk about 12th house. 12th house, it's not going to do well at all, because it's going to the Pisces, and it's going to be the fall house for it. So this person doesn't have those inclination towards those enlightenment, doing high level of spiritual activities, meditation, and all that. So it's not possible for this man, because he believes in day-to-day routine job. All right, so let's see some examples, and that will give you much better idea. Let's start with Dr. Deepak Chopra. He's one of my my favorite philosopher thinkers, and he's one of the best doctors that India has produced and given to United States. Okay, so he lives in America right now, but he was born in New Delhi. And look at this man's horoscope. Okay, he is born in Aquarius Lagna. Okay, and he is the one who has 8th lord in the 8th house, planet wise exalted. In fact, it's in its own house. So planet Y is right there in the Virgo, in the fag end of Virgo. So this man did a lot of research work. He got into higher philosophical concepts as well, and he was a very good doctor. He was known for doing a lot of research work with many of the scholars in the United States, and he's really one of the best doctors, and now a very good philosopher, right? So he has planet X in the second house, also in deepest exaltation. You must listen to his talk. He talks beautifully. The second house of speech has got the fourth lord, right? So he brings the fourth the fourth house, his motherland concepts in a foreign land, and he talks very, very nicely. So you should listen to his lectures. He puts scientific background to the philosophy, and that's where his talks becomes very interesting. And I always listen to this person, and he's a very fascinating speaker. And look at the Y. The Y has made him to do a lot of research work, and he has contributed a lot in the field of medicine. All right, let's take Shakuntala Devi. Who has not heard about this person? She is known as human computer. So she was born on 4th of November 1929, and look at her horoscope. She is born in Kanya Lagnam, that means the Virgo ascendant, and the lord of the Virgo ascendant, planet Y, stays there in the Lagna. So this person was able to multiply 10 digit by 10 digits within a fraction of a second. She used to give the answer. She has challenged She had challenged the computer, and you should go always Google Shakuntala Devi and see her videos or talks which were recorded previously, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed what is happening in her brain. Okay, she's the perfect example for planet Y in the best position for her. Okay, so it is at 5 degrees of Virgo, and she I do not want to talk about any other part of her chart. Just look at planet Y and look at her videos and her achievements. You just Google Shakuntala Devi mathematician, and you will find so much of achievements that she has done. She had challenged really a computer. She can be faster than computer, all right, of her times, and she was one of the best known mathematicians. All right, so that's the one. And then of course, who does not talk about Amitabh Bachchan when you talk about planet X and Y? Always remember Mr. Greenstone Lobo himself keeps telling about Amitabh Bachchan, because this is the horoscope which has inspired the research work of Greenstone Lobo. So if you just take out all the outer planets and show this simple horoscope and remove the name of Amitabh Bachchan and show to any simple astrologer in India, he will say that this man had a lot of problems, because 1, 2, 3, and 4. Four major astrological planets, classical astrological planets, are in 8th house. Okay, and you can even look at the color coded chart here. It's all red except planet Y. That means there was a time wherein he was financially down. He was going through the surgery, and many things happened to him. He lost his money through ABC Corporation and all that, but he was completely healed from that liver problem that he had due to the accident in the early 1980s, and then he really came out of the problem. And the healer was 8th Lord in the 8th house. So please understand that any planet will not make the person to suffer of that house or that bhava's effect, and it always protects its own house. Okay, so that's the way. That is where the planet Y has given him the healing. Planet X has brought him the money back. So X and Y has played a big role in this man's horoscope, and that is why Amitabh Bachchan is Amitabh Bachchan, right? So this horoscope, if you look into it, you will learn a lot of things there. Now, Warren Buffett, who doesn't know this man? He's one of the best investors of the world. And of course, look at his planet Y. It is there in the Labasthanam, in the house of gains, 11th Lord in the 11th house. He's one of the most intelligent investor, and he gets the maximum returns for all that he does, because he's very good in this number game, and planet Y has helped him all the way out. There is no other doubt about it. And look at planet X, 7th Lord in the 2nd house exalted. So this is also Lakshmi Sthanam. It's the house of wealth. He accumulates wealth. He got the wealth from where? The other people's money. People invest in his stocks and shares. The share go up. He invests himself and stores the wealth. The planet X and planet Y is really very good in Warren Buffett's horoscope. All right. So this is a typical example. And let us see one more example here. What planet Y can do here for Oshinori-san from Japan. So he was given the Nobel Prize in the year 2016 for working on autophagy. So he is the one who got this Nobel Prize for saying that be hungry, do fasting, and it heals your body in a very scientific way. Okay, we always tell in India there is something called 11th lunar day, the Ekadashi. On that day you should not eat any food, and the next day you can have your food. They said this practice was there in India for centuries. but Oshinori-san is the one who did all the research work and explained how this fasting process helps in what is known as autophagy, and it cleans all the unnecessary cells, proteins in the body. So it is eating its own proteins. That's what the body does when you go for fasting, right? So it's a beautiful concept of fasting. We should all do that, to gain better health. And that was the research work of Yoshinori-san, and look at where his planet Y is. It's right there in the sixth house. That's why he's a doctor, he's a researcher, and he got even the Nobel Prize. It's one of the highest awards in this world. Okay, so he got the Nobel Prize for medicine. And this is all. Even Chiron is there in the sixth house of healing. Of course, that emotional part of Chiron also goes to sixth house, along with Jupiter, the Gnanakaraka, or the knowledge giver, who is actually the ninth lord in the sixth house. And please look into why planet Y or Vishwakarma goes to the best position, and this man is very meticulous in his research work. He goes into the micro details, in the usage of microscope, and then he found the real benefits of what is known as autophagy. Right? So planet Y is really good in this horoscope. Let's take this young man, Ramesh Babu Pragyananda. He's one of the youngest chess players I am seeing. Okay, he's become world famous these days, and look at his chart. He is born with Virgo ascendant, and look at planet Y right there in the Virgo, right? So this guy has very good future in the game of chess, because chess is the play is the game wherein you have those 64 squares and you have to play with thousands on thousands of combinations and permutations, and finally you have to win the game with a lot of strategies. So that strategic brain that Pragyananda has got is through his planet Y. All right, so this is a very classical. I'm not even going into any other part of his horoscope. Just look at the ascendant and look at planet Y in the green condition. And she has got, of course, Jupiter and Moon as well in the first house. That shows that he's really dedicated in the field of this chess, and he's going to win more and more titles as he grows in this area. All right. Next, let us come to our famous comedian, politician, Rahul Gandhi. Okay, so this is the chart that I just took. These birth details, I took it from Greenstone Lobo, and I've just reproduced the same chart here, and look at what is happening to him as a disaster. So 12th Lord Y gets exalted in Aries in the 8th house, in the 7th house. So basically what it is connecting is 12th house is another country, foreign land, and foreign land, he is going to be the politician in the foreign land. This is what is the indication of planet Y in the 7th house. Now, this man may not go out of India for sure. Okay, and so he's born in New Delhi, so India should be his motherland. And look at what is happening is 12th Lord, VIS Thanam, the house of losses. That Lord goes and sits in the 7th house, and this could be one of the reasons why his own Congress party is going down and down, because ever since he took the leadership role for this party. Before that, the party was doing very good. It ruled India for 70 years. But now, look at what is happening to planet Y and Rahul Gandhi. He is actually one of the reasons for the downfall of his own country, the downfall of his own Congress party. All right, so there are so many other combinations, of course. I do not want to talk much about it, and we can see that there is Saturn also, which is debilitated Saturn in Aries, and exalted Y is there in the zodiac sign of Aries, but it is the 12th Lord getting exalted, which is becoming negative for this man. Okay, so that's all about it, and you can see some more events that has happened in the past. Whenever the planet Y was in its own house, for example, 1946, the nuclear bomb. See, to make a nuclear bomb, you need a lot of calculations and very precision is involved. Very much precision is involved in the making of these bombs. It cannot, if something goes wrong, it's going to detonate the whole place. So this type of precision job is done in 1946 when planet Y was in Virgo, its own house, and partition between India and Pakistan also happened, in 1947 when planet Y was in its own house. And first computers, microwaves, all these things which needs dedicated see, what you must understand, why the first computer and then microwave. This was translated into high mass production atmosphere later on, and that is what happened. Even the TV, the first TV of course, it comes through Uranus, and converting that into mass production product and making it to reach every house. That's the job of planet Y. Repetitive tasks are always induced during these periods. Okay, man landed on the moon in 1969 when planet Y was exalted. Right, planet Y got into its exaltation point, and what is the meaning of this? So when you want to put a man on moon, so much of precision is required, and so much of calculation numbers, lot of numbers is involved, and that is where the success of putting a man on moon was possible in 1969. So planet Y was one of the responsible planet in the astrology. All right, so starting of Green Revolution 1968, again exalted. The Green Revolution is all about spreading the mother nature and its dedication to give good atmosphere for human beings, right? So that was initiated when planet Y was exalted. See, please understand, Virgo is all about cleanliness. People will be very passionate about cleanliness, and that's why you can see Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was also started in 2014. Cleanliness is godliness was the notion there, and Narendra Modi, Indian Prime Minister, started this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in 2014 when planet Y was in its own house. Again, first test tube baby. It needs a lot of research work. Was done in 1978 when planet Y was also in deepest exaltation point. Emergency was declared in 1975. These 2 years, planet Y is in exaltation. A lot of things happened in India during this period of time, and it could be related to planet Y in exaltation. All right, so even many of the research works would have been carried out whenever the planet Y was exalted in the past. Okay, so this brings to the end of this video. If you have any questions, please type it in the comment section. If you have been the first time visitor of this website, of this channel, please subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you will get the consistent reminders whenever I put on the new video. All right, thank you very much. Please comment and ask questions. I would be glad to answer it whenever I have free time. Thank you. Bye bye.